Hey everybody, this is Joey Fight from thephysicaleducator.com, and today I'd love to walk you through a super fun SEL based game called Emotions Mixup. So the game starts off by introducing students to the pleasantness scale. So students stand in the middle of a rectangular playing area, and then the teacher will assign one end line as the pleasant line and the opposite line as the unpleasant line. The class will then practice reacting and running to either line. The teacher will call out either pleasant or unpleasant, and when they do so, the students need to run to that line. After a couple practice runs, and once the students have shown that they understand the lines, the teacher will introduce the mood meter poster and explain how different emotions can create different levels of pleasantness. The mood meter organizes emotions as being either unpleasant or pleasant, and actually has a rating system that goes from -5 to +5. So for example, if you're feeling joyful, then that would be a +2 towards the pleasant side. Whereas if you were feeling sad, that would be a -2 towards the unpleasant side. Once the class has learned about the pleasantness scale and have shown that they understand it, the teacher will resume play. However, this time what the teacher is going to do is they're going to call out an emotion. And when they do so, students need to react and run to either the pleasant or unpleasant side of the playing area based on where they believe that emotion falls on the pleasantness scale. Once the students have shown that they understand that emotions can be either pleasant or unpleasant, we're ready to move on to build 2. So in this build, we're going to introduce the second scale of the mood meter poster, which is the energy scale. So now the teacher will assign one sideline as being high energy and the other as being low energy. Just as in build 1, the teacher will have students practice running to either line by calling out high or low. Once students have shown that they understand the lines, the teacher will reintroduce the mood meter poster and explain how different emotions can cause us to feel different levels of energy. For example, some emotions like motivation make us feel full of energy and are therefore categorized as high energy emotions. Other emotions make us feel sluggish, like exhaustion, and therefore are categorized as low energy emotions. Just as with the pleasantness scale, the energy scale rates these emotions from either -5 on the low energy side to +5 on the high energy side. Once the class has learned about the energy scale, the teacher will resume play. However, just like before, this time the teacher will call out an emotion. When they do so, students need to react and run to either the high energy or low energy side of the playing area based on where they believe that emotion will fall on that energy scale. Now that students have a better understanding of the pleasantness and energy scales, we're ready for build 3. In build 3, we're ready to play Emotions Mixup. And to do so, the teacher will use color-coordinated cones to divide the playing area into 4 zones: red, blue, green, and yellow. The teacher will then explain how the mood meter has the same 4 zones and how each zone has its own energy and pleasantness rating. So blue is low energy and unpleasant. Red is high energy and unpleasant. Yellow is high energy and pleasant. And green is low energy and pleasant. Now, when the teacher calls out an emotion, the students need to run to the zone that they believe that emotion lives in. Once the students are done moving, the teacher will reveal the zone that that emotion comes from, and any students who guess correctly earn a focus point. Now, you might see some interesting results in this build, so be sure to invite students to discuss why they made their choices. Self-awareness is an important social and emotional learning competency, and the more we discuss emotions and think about them, the more we can grow our capacity to be able to identify and regulate them. Now, if you really want to push the envelope here, this is where we can go into build 4, which is where we start focusing on getting really granular in the way that we're identifying emotions. So for this build, the teacher will break each zone down into smaller sections. To do so, the teacher will make a 3x3 grid of polyspots in each zone. Within the grid, there are spots for low, medium, and high levels of energy and pleasantness, and this goes from either -1 to -3 on the unpleasant or low energy side, or +1 to +3 on the high energy and pleasant side. The idea here is to help students really get in tune with the smaller differences between the different levels of emotion. So now when the teacher calls out the next emotion, students need to run to the zone where they believe that emotion lives and stand near the spot that represents where that emotion would be placed on the mood meter's grid. Once students have picked their location, the teacher can then provide a description of the emotion and allow students to adjust their choices. Once choices are finalized, the teacher can reveal the emotion's exact location on the mood meter's grid. The goal here is to help students develop their ability to make sense of the emotions that they experience and fine-tune their emotional vocabulary. By being able to label their emotions correctly, students will be in a better place to be able to regulate those emotions in healthy ways. So that's Emotions Mix-Up, an SEL-based game that we've broken down into 4 builds. If you'd like to learn more about this game and find additional builds, some of the resources that I mentioned in it, or any other information that you may need, be sure to check out the game page on thephysicaleducator.com. Once again, my name is Joey Fight. Thank you so much for watching, and happy teaching.